Okay, awesome. All right, so welcome. So this is the third one of these that I've done, and then they always end up falling like right around the full moon or so. So happy full moon. And I didn't research anything or like look at the full moon on purpose because I kind of wanted to just go on like how I'm feeling and intuition. So maybe it'll be aligned with the moon, or it could just be like completely off. But I know for me, I've been feeling a little maybe I don't like to use the word crazy, but just a little off today for sure. And also just kneeling like a lot, just like moving more inward and just calm and more rest. So a lot of times I share or teach kind of based off how I'm feeling or things that I go through as well, just once in a while. So that's something I wanted to offer today. And a lot of times when I do these women's empowerment, or just when we think about the word empowerment, a lot of times we think it has to be this like big, crazy, massive force of energy. And we think that it has to be this like, fire inside of us and like this constant energy and passion, which it absolutely is. But sometimes this empowerment is also just allowing ourselves to like move more inward and to feel safe within who we are and feel safe to move inward. And for me, that's like an extremely empowering state, is to feel safe in who we are and to learn a little bit more about who we are. And for me, one of my big practices in life, and I think with a lot of women that I've talked to and have related to, is finding our own self-love. And that's something that I kind of wanted to just tap on today within this. So we've had little different like themes. Like the first one was harnessing your power. Last time we did subconscious reprogramming. So today is more just like self-love and self-acceptance, hence the mirror. We're going to do some uncomfortable work that's going to be very empowering work as well. So again, just like stepping into this idea of finding our own self-love and just moving into this self-acceptance. And I'll share kind of a little story of like within my journey and something that has helped me just come to more realizations of finding my own self-love is, when I was younger, I used to always joke and I would say like, love me, and just kind of, just like, love me, love me. I would say it to my parents, say it to my friends, and we would kind of make a joke out of it. And then even years later, like even more recently, finding myself like saying it to my fiance. And it was kind of this idea of taking this time to stop and pause with that and like actually realizing when I say love me, it's like craving this love that I actually wasn't really giving to myself, essentially. And it was almost like one part of Carol saying to another part of Carol, like, love me, accept me, hold me, nourish me. Because there was always a part of me that didn't fully accept and integrate every part of who I was, if that makes sense. So there was always a part of me that I deemed kind of shameful or wrong, or that I couldn't be this way and also be this way. So I created these stories and ideas, and then I attached to the one idea and I made the other one wrong. So because the other one was wrong, it became unlovable, it became unaccepted. So now trying to, shift my vocabulary, and I'm sure a lot of you know how powerful our words are, and anything we say after I am is so extremely powerful, and just anything in general too. So it's like that. And there's so often when I'm like joking and then having to realize like, okay, even though I'm joking and saying, love me, what am I craving here? So this idea of like where we can then slow down and rest and start to come to these realizations and then integrating that self-love, it really brings us to like, how can we have so much like just like this deep, fierce love for ourselves that we don't need to crave it from anybody else. We don't need to get it from everybody else. And then anything we get from everybody else is just an overflow of love. So it's like, imagine if we could give ourselves everything we already need, everything we already crave. And, in Ayurveda too, a lot of times we talk about, for people that crave sweets, sometimes we're craving this like sweetness in our life that we feel like we're lacking in other areas of our life too. So that can also be something to just, think about if we're craving. And I mean, I love chocolate, so I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's of course finding that balance with it too, right? So are we constantly craving these sweets and craving the sweetness from somebody else or something else because we're lacking it in an area of our life? So it's like when we can start to find this overflow of love for ourselves and this overflow of acceptance for ourselves, right? We get rid of that idea of seeking that validation from those outside sources and just coming back to like all of these feelings within, and that we already have this within. So within this today, we'll do a couple. I always like to journal and just have people get things down on paper. And then I like to have people share a couple things. I always play a little bit of music in the back. And then we'll move into kind of like the empowerment workshop or the series or the practice, excuse me. And then we dance. So we do some intuitive dance. You're welcome to go off of your screen. Or, you know, one of my coaches said too, and again, if you're not quite here yet, that's okay. It's like allowing yourself to be seen and think about how it feels to let yourself be seen. And here's the thing too, like no one's looking at you and being like, oh my God, I wonder what Sheridan's doing. Ooh, I wonder. Like, no, like, right. No one's doing that. No, we're all like worried about ourselves and just moving to feeling that within ourselves. So I encourage you to let yourself be seen. And if you're not quite there, totally okay. So we'll just start with just a quick little practice. So if you have your journal and a pen, and then just simply, maybe this is simple, it might not be simple, is I just want you to write down 10 things that you love about yourself. So just 10 things that you love about yourself. We'll just take like a couple minutes. Surrounded by love. I am 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 surrounded by love. All right. Zoe and Reagan, go ahead and put your name in the chat and where both of you are from. So if you want to do it for both of you. And then we just moved into a journal exercise. So you guys kind of missed the intro, but it's not a big deal. I just want you to, each of you to write down 10 things that you love about yourself. So we're focusing on more like self-love and self-acceptance today. So go ahead and put your name and where you're from in the chat. And then 10 things, just start to write down 10 things that you ladies love about yourselves. So if you have journal and a pen, that would be good. Or just a piece of paper. Good. So Zoe lives in Mooresville and Reagan is from Tampa, Florida, but she's in Charlotte or Cornelius right now. But yeah, no, that's okay. You're good. Awesome. And then if you ladies want to start to finish up what you wrote, and then if you are done already, just take a moment to read everything that you did write. All right. So start to finish up where you are if you haven't yet. And then just take a moment to look over what you wrote. And if you're not done yet, that's okay. And then I want you ladies to put in 3 things that you wrote in the chat and put it in caps. So this is part of it, like allowing yourself to be seen. And it's also moving away from that idea that you're coming from like ego or coming from like this outside thing where it's not okay to love ourselves and it's not okay to talk about the ways that we love ourselves. And for me, I feel like this is such a great way for like uplifting and empowering other women is to share the things that we love about ourselves, and we like up that frequency so we can share that with others and inspire others. So I love that. I'm curious, a good listener, and intuitive. Awesome. And maybe just send a little bit of love to each person when they share that too, because it can be really vulnerable to share a lot of this stuff, obviously. So my resilience, my optimism, and my creativity. Amazing. We love our feminine curves. Yes. Vulnerability and self-awareness. That's so beautiful. Awesome. I love that I'm organized, helpful, and motivated to pursue my passion. Yes. Amazing. Adventurous, open-minded, and resilient. Awesome. 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 Okay. Thank you. So the next part of this, so good. So the next thing that we'll journal on, and then we'll move into more of like the physical practices, is I want you to write like a love note to yourself, or you can think of it as creating like a love story within yourself as well. So a lot of times, right, maybe we think of these love stories with like all these other people in it or all these other factors. So I just want you to write like, what does your love story look like? Like, what does it look like, or how does it feel to fully accept yourself, to know your worth, to know your self-love? So either like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? You can do both of that too. So it's just like a love note to yourself or a love story with yourself. And whatever else comes up is always like totally cool. So we'll do about 5 minutes for that. I'll put some music back up. And obviously you can look back on any of the things that you just wrote to help you too. And then also just moving away from the idea that anything is wrong. Just take a couple more moments. And again, maybe you come back to just noticing if you're denying yourself love in any area of your life, or if you're searching for it outside of yourself somewhere, and maybe just take time to kind of flip that script. Like, what would it be like if you didn't deny yourself that love, if you didn't look for it from those outside sources or from other people? Maybe what would it feel like to be so overflowing with love? Just take about a couple more minutes. And then whenever you do start to finish up, just reread what you wrote. As you reread, maybe there's a couple other words that kind of come up for you of how you would feel. Maybe this would enable you to feel free or limitless, abundant, joyful. You can just jot down any words if anything else does come up for you too. And then if you'd like to share anything you wrote in the chat, I won't make you do it this time if this is a little bit more vulnerable or a little bit harder to share. But if anyone would like to just share anything that they wrote, absolutely fine. I'll leave about a minute or so, and then if not, we'll just move on. And then Zoe and Reagan, I don't know if you guys heard this part, but for the next part, everyone needs a hand mirror. If you guys have a hand mirror, and if you don't have a hand mirror, then you can use your phone camera. It's not like quite as powerful, but if you have a mirror or a hand mirror, go ahead and grab it. This part's going to be a little uncomfortable, but it's great. Okay, awesome. So I'll let her grab that in a minute. All right, so that's just a little love note or story you can have for yourself anytime that you need to like check back in. Oh yeah, perfect. Thanks, ladies. Awesome. Remember to celebrate your wins, big and small, and treat yourself. Yes, so good. You never be too much. Oh, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Awesome. All right. So for this next part, so this is where you have your hand mirror. I'm not going to do any music for this. So basically what we're going to do, hi Kizzy, is you are going to have the mirror and you don't have to do it quite yet, but essentially you are going to hold your gaze in this mirror and look at yourself for quite a long time. And we're going to repeat a few different little affirmations. So it is going to be something like, Carol, I love you. Obviously, you guys will say your name instead. And so just repeating your name and then whatever it is, we're going to repeat them a few times. So as we repeat it, it starts to create more of this like imprint and pattern. It starts to like sink in a little bit deeper. So you'll basically just repeat after me. All of you are on mute. And what I want you to think about is also thinking about like how you hold yourself. And this is always something I talk about in these little empowerment. So again, it's like how you hold yourself and where you're sitting right now. And thinking about just like, are the shoulders softening? Is the crown of the head towards the sky? Is the spine long? And just like holding yourself in this like presence that's like, yes, I'm here. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to be heard. I'm ready to just like be here. And like thinking about it, I talk about this all the time too, of like taking up space and courageously like stepping into that space. And this is like, it's so much different to be here and hold ourselves than to do this and hold ourselves. And I do this too, but it's just like all these things that we do, right? So it's like, imagine it's just like yoga, right? I think a lot of you do yoga. It's like, how do we hold ourselves? That posture that we talk about, finding like that strength, that resiliency, stability, foundation. So I want you to find that wherever you are. And if you're in a chair, bring your feet on the floor. And then you don't have to look to them. You can kind of like come off to the side. And I want you to grab your mirror. So we're going right for it. And then if you don't have a mirror, you can use, again, your phone camera. So, all right, so go ahead first and just let your shoulders soften. Try to sit up tall. And then first, I'm just going to make you hold your gaze. So just looking at yourself in the mirror. And as you do this, look without any judgment, any attachments, any expectations, mostly without any judgment. And just find about 3 deep breaths as you hold your gaze. Maybe you bring a little bit of a smile to your face. Maybe you notice any tension in the body, or maybe you notice the body can soften. And then you'll start to repeat after me. So using your name, and you'll do this out loud. So it's Carol, I love you. Carol, I love you. Carol, I love you. Carol, I accept you. Carol, I accept you. Carol, I accept you. Carol, you are powerful. Carol, you are powerful. Carol, you are powerful. Carol, you are capable. Carol, you are capable. Carol, you are capable. Carol, you are beautiful. Carol, you are beautiful. Carol, you are beautiful. Good, one more here. Carol, you are worthy. Carol, you are worthy. Carol, you are worthy. Take a moment just to be still and find some silence. Continue to hold your gaze. And then just slowly lower the mirror down. Just close your eyes wherever you are. And then just notice how that feels in the body. It might feel really awkward. It might feel really uncomfortable, or it might feel really, really good right away. Maybe notice if that sensation or that emotion just lies with anywhere in the body. Maybe it's in the heart, the chest, the throat, maybe in the head. So just becoming aware of any sensation. Good. All right, we're going to do that again. I'm going to try to remember the same order I did. So bring your mirror back up. Good. Find your gaze. Awesome. Good. Again, sit up really, really tall, let your shoulders soften, and even check in with your voice. Like, how does your voice sound? Do you sound confident and powerful in what you're saying? Can you be a little bit more confident? Can you find like that little fierceness? All right. So again, repeat after me. So Carol, I love you. Carol, I love you. Carol, I love you. Carol, you are powerful. Carol, you are powerful. Carol, you are powerful. Carol, I accept you. Carol, I accept you. Carol, I accept you. Carol, you are capable. Carol, you are capable. Carol, you are capable. Carol, you are beautiful. Carol, you are beautiful. Carol, you are beautiful. Good, last one. Carol, you are worthy. Carol, you are worthy. Carol, you are worthy. Take a moment, just hold your gaze. Notice what comes up without attachment, expectation, or judgment. Try not to look away. And slowly lower that mirror down. Again, just close your eyes wherever you are. Notice again how that feels in the body. Notice where it hits, where it rests. Allow your body to soften on the exhales as you just sit. So we're going to do this one more time, and I want you to just come up with your own few sayings. So it can be any of the things that we went over, or if there's anything else like coming up for you, maybe you want to be confident, maybe you want to be fierce, maybe joyful. So whatever it is, you don't need to write it down, just let it come up. You'll repeat it about 3 times. So we'll just take about a minute or so. So it's whatever comes up for you. It can be the same exact thing. Okay. So just let your intuition come. So bring that mirror back up. And I'm just going to be silent so you guys can just do whatever. So go ahead for about 1 minute. Good. Take about a couple more minutes or a couple more seconds. And then whenever you're ready again, just lower the mirror down. Try to come back to some stillness. No rush. Allowing the eyes to close when you get there. Before we come back to the screen, give yourself a big hug. Always so corny, but it feels so good. Something about just as you could hold yourself and nourish yourself. Again, maybe it's accepting yourself, loving yourself, and holding yourself as you are. If you want to lower the chin, open the eyes, gently release as you come back to the screen. So good. All right. So before we dance, I would love for you to put in, again, like how that made you feel. And it can be awkward, uncomfortable. It can be empowering. So just be truthful and honest with whatever came up for you. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Do you say powerful, Zoe? I think I read your mouth. Or Reagan, sorry. Yeah, so just go ahead and put it in the chat. Just one word or a sentence, however that made you feel. At first, a little uncomfortable and then very powerful, amazing, reflective, proud, uncomfortable at first, but believing it at the end. Yes. So good. And yeah, the believing it is like the most important part, right? Like feeling it deep within. Good. And then I also would love to hear if it hit anywhere in the body or if it rested anywhere in the body. Like, did you feel any tension or tightness in the head or the throat or the chest? Or did you feel like any softness anywhere in the heart? Awesome. Those are direct messages. So yeah. Oh, Kizzy started out awkward and then suddenly powerful. Yes. Awkward at first, then embracing it fully. Yeah, definitely awkward at first. Heart. Awesome. Yeah. And then if it just hit anywhere, and just say like if it felt like a softness in this place, or if it felt like a tension, shoulders and heart softened. Awesome. Sometimes it can bring up tension because if it feels awkward and uncomfortable, some tension can come. So stomach, tension in the throat, right? Speaking that confidence, that truth. It's hard as hell. Awesome. All right. Perfect. But anyone? Okay, cool. So then we move through. Oh my God. Zoe. um, so then we move through and I just have us dance here. So I don't ever have rules with intuitive dancing besides the fact that you are moving from your soul and from your heart. So it's getting out of the mind and into the heart and into the body, and getting away again from any like judgment, any expectations, any attachment. And it's also like we think of other people's judgment, but again, also thinking of our own person, like our own judgment of like, am I doing this wrong? Do I look weird? Oh my God, I'm not good at this. It's like letting go of any of that and moving into like what feels really, really good. And if it feels really, really good, that gets to be true to you. And that can feel really powering and strong and whatever it is. And like I said before, so I have some songs that like are a little bit softer. Normally we go like crazy, like upbeat, intense, kind of not intense, but it's like usually a little like more up. So today I have it like a little bit more chill, just because we are doing more like the self-love and moving more into like that rest and contemplation. Also, I guess I just thought with the full moon, they're not like boring songs, but they're not like quite as like intense. So I'm not going to put a time on it. We're just going to kind of see. So first of all, go ahead and get out of your chair. And you can also do like a seated sway. We call that too if you feel uncomfortable. Otherwise, I want you to like move anything out of the way. And we're going to get up and do this. And then after, we'll move into like a meditation. I think we'll do it lying down again, just so we can do more of like that rest. And then I give space for people to share afterwards. So
welcome.
How's the volume?
Goddesses, healers, medicine women, mothers. This is the G code. I am all that I preach to be. I invite you all to take a leap with me. Astral projecting through frequency. Let's find it out, smoke this leaf for me. Keep it in check. I am all that I preach to be. I invite you all to take a leap with me. Astral projecting through frequency. Let's vibe it out, smoke this leaf for me. Keep it in check. I really wanna hit a pulse breaks with my queens. We've been manifesting finding things. All our dreams, rulers of the green reign supreme. Getting cream, surround myself with ultra light beams. That's the theme. Descendants of the kingdom of Kush. Down in Venice smoking blackberry kush. I do what I want, I do it for fun, I do it for us, I do it with love. Celebrating life on a daily. The more I do that, the more they pay me. Elevation every day, I'm committed. First I see it, then I go out and get it. If you wanna feel love, you gotta give it. Don't ever let them knock you off your pivot. Keep your vibes high, don't you get it? It's a journey, so your work is never finished. If you wanna see it happen, write it down. That's law, that's law. I usually like to cop it by the pound. For my dogs, keep a couple rose quartz around. For the heart, be confident wearing a crown. You are art, compassion, forgiveness. Live with more intention. Speak life, give thanks. Stay dedicated to ascension. I am all that I preach to be. I invite you all to take a leap with me. Astral projecting through frequency. Let's vibe it out, smoke this leaf for me. Keep it in check. I am all that I preach to be. I invite you all to take a leap with me. Astral projecting through frequency. Let's vibe it out, smoke this leaf for me. Keep it in check. Tap in, stay in tune with your cycle. Let it flow. Every moon, welcome in its arrival. Let it glow. Free bleeding on the earth is tribal. Let it flow. If it isn't vital for your survival, let it go. Protect your energy, make time for yourself. You don't have to work for nobody else. Focus on your spiritual wealth. Watch it manifest through perfect health. Meditate, then your payments escalate. Hope you're thriving and you're living your best today. What's great is you're better than yesterday. Practice self-love daily, that's a power play. Compassion, forgiveness, live with more intention. Speak life, give thanks, stay dedicated to ascension. Give love, stay up, make the most out of your existence. Live healthy, self-love, be consistent. I am all that I preach to be. I invite you all to take a leap with me. Astro projected through frequency. Let's vibe it out, smoke this leaf with me. Keep it in check. I am all that I preach to be. I invite you all to take a leap with me. Astro projected through frequency. Let's vibe it out, smoke this leaf with me. Keep it in check. Did you know that your womb is the gateway to heaven on earth? Stay inspired, confident, aware, stay positive, enlightened. Keep rising, keep grinding, take breaks, keep shining, keep it sacred. Have patience, have trust, believe the universe is always conspiring in your favor. You are blessed. You are exactly where you need to be. Continue loving unconditionally. Continue being the light. Lead the way. Set the examples. You're doing a really good job.
So moving into the next song, just think about how you can move this through the body. So everything we just did, you're just moving it through the body. Hello? Notice if you're too much in the mind and have to move back to the body or the heart. notice if there's any resistance anywhere and see if you can just like fully let go in this last song. Okay, just let it feel really good.
My sheets were cold tonight. Had a reason for a dying fire. Burn a time for dreams. Lovely soul, he's gone to sleep. Silent, empty house, I cannot breathe. You said too many nice things. Can I keep spinning through no turn, turn, turn? Can I just fall back in your open arms? And when you ask, I'll always sing you a song about a girl trying to live inside a dream.
Just a couple more minutes.
Feet kicked out from underneath. Then I catch your eyes, please, can I keep them with me for a future time? You help me when I try to fly. Can I keep spinning through your turn, turn, turn? Can I just fall back in your open arms? And when you ask, I'll always sing you a song about a girl who tried to live inside a dream. Give me a book to read. Talk me your mind and let me see what's crashing round inside of you. Fire hasn't gone up yet, so can we caught in the fire escape? We'll see. Just as far as we want to get. Can I keep spinning through your turn, turn, turn? Can I just fall back in your open arms? And when you ask, I'll always sing you a song about a girl who tried to live inside a dream. Can I keep spinning through your turn, turn, turn? Can I just fall back in your open arms?
Start to slow it down. Maybe you just close the eyes and gently sway side to side or back and forth as you just slow it down. Just take a moment, bringing awareness back to your energy wherever you currently are within this moment. Just bringing awareness right to that. Maybe you keep that little sway. If you'd like to place the hands over the heart. And then again, just taking a moment to check in with the heart, checking in with the chest. And then from here, if you want to just come right to lie down in Shavasana or coming right into a seat, if you want to sit or welcome to lie down. If you want a sip of water first, we'll just finish with a little meditation. So if you want to lie down, that's more of that feminine form of just allowing yourself to rest. Just getting comfortable, relaxing. If you stay seated, that's a little bit more of that masculine form. Staying with a little bit of that structure. Just taking a full body scan wherever you are. Maybe starting at the crown of the head and then moving all the way down towards the feet. And whenever you feel like you're done with those full body scans, take as many as you need. And then just allow yourself to rest in the space of your heart. So just simply bringing awareness to the heart center and just allowing yourself to rest. Allowing that practice to integrate into the body. Perhaps a little reminder that you are safe to rest. You are safe to go deep within your heart. And just continuing to rest in that heart center. Just allowing whatever to come up to come. Whatever rises, just let it rise. Perhaps noticing if there's a little bit of a wall still built up. Noticing if there's any resistance or any tension that resides in the chest or around the heart. And perhaps you use the breath to soften, beginning to move some prana, that energy throughout the body. Maybe you need to bring back in any of those little mantras of I love you, I accept you. Or maybe I am safe to rest, or I am safe to explore my heart. If any of that helps, feel free to create your little mantra and just repeat it for a couple times. Maybe after that third time or so that you've repeated, you already start to feel a little bit more relaxed. And then letting go of any mantras or anything that you're repeating. And then just start to visualize a golden light at your heart center. It's about the size of an almond, and just visualizing that golden light, the size of an almond right within the heart center. And that light can represent your own love, your own acceptance, your own worthiness, your own power, or anything else that came up for you this evening. And then as you inhale, just start to visualize and feel that light expand throughout the heart center. And as you exhale, you gently visualize and feel it returning back to source, returning back home to that little almond shape right in the center. And again, as you inhale, start to visualize that light expanding, that love, that acceptance, that worthiness. And as you exhale, feel it gently fall and return back to that home, back to source. And then just taking a few more rounds like that as you inhale, expanding that light throughout. And as you exhale, it gently returns back home and back to source. If you'd like to add on to that visualization, as you inhale and visualize that light expand, you can also repeat, I am love. And as you exhale, you can repeat it as well as it returns back to source. And just a few more rounds like that, please. Beginning to let go of that visualization and just return back to the natural breath. Find one more practice here. So as we open up the heart, we start to open it to create space for the things that we would like to welcome in. And then in order to create space for whatever we would like to welcome in, we also have to open up the back of our heart to let things go that are no longer serving us. So maybe any old stories, any old mantras. For example, for me, it would be that love me to everybody else. So maybe as I inhale and open up the front of the heart, I can offer my own love. And as you exhale, or as I would exhale and open up the back of the heart to let something go, it could be letting go of that idea that I need everyone else to love me first. So just thinking of something that works for you as you inhale, opening up the front of the heart to welcome something in. And as you exhale, opening up the back of the heart to let something go. Just find a couple more rounds wherever you are. And then gently begin to release that practice. Letting go of any visualization, letting go of any controlled breathing, any mantras or sayings. And as you're here, you can slowly just start to bring awareness back to the body, maybe beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. If you'd like, you can begin to circle out wrist and ankles. So to bring the knees in towards the chest and rolling over to your favorite side, use that arm as a pillow and just pause. Taking a moment, just allowing the body and mind and spirit to renew, recharge, reset. With keeping your eyes closed, coming up to a simple seat, hands find the heart, Anjali Mudra. And we close this practice with the universal sound of Om. This is a way that we can celebrate life and celebrate one another. And it's a harmonizing and connecting sound between everyone. So we'll take a deep inhale. You might just notice that healing vibration that it brings to the nervous system. When you're ready, slowly begin to bow your chin down towards your heart. And opening the eyes, coming back to the screen whenever you are ready. Amazing. So if you want to take this time to just write down anything that came up to you, maybe anything in the meditation or the dancing. So just like any downloads or any maybe like, oh my gosh, this was an incredible breakthrough or a thought or something that came through, feel free to just write that down. And then if you ladies are at the screen, I would love for you to turn your videos back on for the last part, but if you can't, no problem at all. Hi. Good. Yeah, so just a couple minutes if you want to write anything down. And then in a second before we finish, I always give space for people to share or ask questions. So we'll do that in just a moment. I'll open up so people can actually turn their mics on. So yeah, if you want to write any last minute things down, anything that came to you. And if not, that's awesome too. So good. And then before I give that space, you can finish writing as you'd like. So I always like to share on the end of these that I offer a program that I created in March, and it's called Authentic Feminine Mastermind. So it's a 12-week long program. And I always say that if you enjoy these practices and enjoy the things we do in here, essentially the program is like 12 weeks of that. And then it's how you can create these practices and keep them with you really for the rest of your life. So it's finding these tools to really go inward, to find like that deep dive of like who you are, who you desire to be, how you want to show up in the world, and then taking those practices to move throughout life. So it's really, it's 12 weeks to pleasure, purpose, prosperity, and freedom in order to live a more fulfilling and authentic life. So we have all these different modules that we go through. I walk you through everything. We have like an amazing group of women like this, so you get to share with other women, connect with other women as well. And it's just it's a fun space. It's a transformational space. If you're looking for a job change, it's amazing. If you're just looking to do some like deep inner work, I truly believe that we have to do deep inner work before we can really thrive in a business, especially if we own a business. I think it's important that we know who we are and we know how we want to show up. So we do a lot of work like that, plus so much more. It's really fun, transformational deep dive. It's definitely not like easy work, but it's amazing. So if you have questions on that, I love to talk to people more. I do discovery calls to get to know people. And then the last thing I think most of you know too is I'm doing a women's retreat in Tulum, Mexico, November 15th to the 20th. So essentially it's 5 days of this on the Caribbean. And so we'll do yoga in the morning and then these type of practices in the evening. It's just women. So as much as I still like love my dudes for students, it's just a different energy. It's a different vibe. We can be a little more vulnerable and share in a different way too. So those are two offerings that I have. Just like I say, if these are the practices that you enjoy and you like being around other women and like raising to that frequency, these are just ways you can either do it in person at the retreat, or the coaching is just 12 weeks long of like really like deep dive into all of this too. And I give you like lots of love work, aka homework, but it's more fun than homework. So yeah, so if you have questions, let me know. And then I'm gonna stop recording so you guys have time to share.